So this is the December 12/8/2014 Root River District Cub Scout and Boy Scout Roundtables. So on the books tonight we have a joint opening. We're going to be talking about how was the youth, let's see. We have a Discovery World presentation by Simmons Schneider. We have a Distinguished Service Award that we're going to hand out to Ryan Simmons. And we're going to introduce Stephen Idzikowski, our new AE. And we'll break and do a Boy Scout. We have a flag in the corner of the room here. So everybody would please make the salute that's appropriate for you. And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please be seated. So we have a couple things that we're going to do from the joint side, meaning Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I don't know, Lori, are your ventures done? Are you going to join us too?
Well, we just thought we'd hear announcements.
Okay, great. You might want to come back for the Boy Scout side when we talk about Klondike too, though, okay? So that's up to you guys. Why don't we start tonight? I have a guest from the Discovery World, Semra Schneider, right, Semra?
Yes.
Yes, and she's from Discovery World, and she's telling us that there are all kinds of programs at Discovery World available for both Cubs and Boy Scout units. So, why don't you go ahead, Semra?
Thank you very much, John. Hi guys, how are we doing?
Good.
Who has been down to Discovery World before? I see a couple familiar faces, and maybe a couple who've dragged a bunch of Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts down by me. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes and talk about a couple different things that we do for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. So I'm first going to start off with the major part of the brochure that Tom is kind of passing around, and those are our regular programs. We offer 4 different Weeblos activity badges, and we offer, right now, we have about 16 different merit badges. So in all of these different programs that we offer, we're looking to do some of the badges that maybe it might be a little hard for some of you guys to find. Like I do a robotics merit badge. And the chemistry merit badge, that's a heavy one. I have a lot of a chemistry teacher, an electronics teacher, an engineer on staff that will help me do all of those merit badges. So those are a variety of programs that we do regularly. Each year I put out a brochure for September through May on these dates, and you can come and do those programs. Additionally, please take a note, especially if you're a Cub Scout leader, that the Weeblos programs that I do, if those dates don't work for you, give us a call and we'll set up a private program just for your boys as long as you have 10 or we'll pay for 10. I will do a Weeblos program on a private date and time that works for you guys. A lot of different Boy Scout or Cub Scout troop leaders have realized that it's something really cool to do, or maybe if you have a half day and don't really know what to do with all of your boys, or on a specific Saturday or Sunday where you're looking to do a program. And I don't offer a whole lot of Weeblos programs on Saturdays. I do that because I offer a ton of the merit badges programs on Saturdays, because those ones are a little bit longer. If you are looking for or have a substantial amount of Boy Scouts who are looking to do one of those merit badges and they don't work, I've only done a couple private merit badges, but I'm definitely open to considering that if that's what you'd like to do. Then the last thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick is some of our just fun events that we have. Sorry. Some of the just events that we do once or twice a year. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is our Scouting Day with the Milwaukee Admirals. So on January 10th, we're doing a fun day with the Milwaukee Admirals. This is the registration sheet. I have about 25 of these left. I'm going to leave them up here if you guys want to grab one. There's information in the back page of the brochure right there. And what it is, it's a $20 ticket, whether you're an adult or a scout. And it gets you into the Admirals game that night and into Discovery World for the afternoon for some kind of fun programming. What we're going to do is a lot of kind of electricity-based stuff, some chemistry, maybe a little food. Last year we did soda programs. They're like smaller 30, 45-minute programs. The boys can sign up for whichever ones they're interested in signing up for. or they can just spend about 2.5 hours roaming around Discovery World, which is the time that we highly recommend you take to go through all of our exhibits and the museum itself. If you've never been down there or your boys have never been down there, you're definitely going to need 2.5 hours to go through all of that stuff. So take a look at what we're doing on January 10th. Also, the last thing I'm going to talk about is our Boy Scout and Cub Scout sleepovers. So right now I have 2 sleepovers scheduled for next spring. They're from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The boys do about an hour to an hour and a half of programming, as well as get time in the museum and a movie to end kind of the night. What we do. If you have any questions, please feel free to call our Scout educator. That is not me, that is one of my staff. Her name is Brittany, and her number is in there. That's the 765 6787, something like that, 6787. It's in there at least 5 times in that brochure for you. And just so everyone knows, if you're looking for the sleepover, my March sleepover is about this close to capacity. So last year we had a waiting list for that one, so if you're really interested in it, call quick. Anybody have any questions for me before I give it? Yeah?
Are the people that teach these merit badges, are they registered merit badge counselors?
Correct, yes. They are all registered merit badge counselors.
Okay.
Yes.
I've had trouble with, a lot of times a young man will come to me to finish up a partial, and I try and go through the merit badge with the young man, and it seems like what they get taught at Discovery World is not out of the current merit badge pamphlet.
As in, like, the newest changes that are happening right now?
Well, the pamphlet that's currently being used.
Because a lot of the Boy Scout merit badges are changing right now. So
I understand, but
we're working really hard to try and shift all of those 16 to 18, at one point in time I offered 20 merit badges to those new ones.
Right.
So I know that there's like the entrepreneurship one. We had a bunch of guys come in and we were still kind of working out the old ones. I'm under the impression that I don't have to be at, as if this is a year of transition. Am I correct in that?
I guess where I'm going back is last summer. I worked with a number of youth that had partials that they had gotten at Discovery World. And what they were taught or educated at Discovery World was not matching up with the merit badge book as it existed when they came to me.
What merit badge, for example?
Yeah.
It was mostly environmental type of merit badges.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that experience wasn't up to the par that you thought it was supposed to be at. I apologize if that wasn't in. If you want to talk to me, I would love to get to know who those boys were and make sure that they got to what they were supposed to get.
Okay.
On that level. Anybody else? All right, thanks. And I'm gonna not take no more time.
Thank you, Summer.
Yeah,
Thank you much.
thank you.
And you're gonna leave the other brochures about the Admiral's game, things like that,
Yeah,
right?
can I leave them on the back table?
Yes, yes, on the back. Leave them near the cookies, that's where a lot of people. Thank you very much. What I'd like to do is invite a young man to come on up. If I have Ryan Simmons here, I believe I do. Ryan, could you come on up, please? And I know this is probably very embarrassing, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's not an easy thing for a young man to get some praise in public, but we're going to do that, okay? So I don't know if anybody else from Ryan's family or anybody else is joining us. You want to join us too? Whatever, should be great. So Ryan is here because we want to present a certificate of merit to him. It just says, Certificate of Merit in recognition of meritorious action. It doesn't tell the whole story. So we'll hand this to you in a minute or two, okay? Okay, so I want to tell a little bit of Ryan's story. I heard from his story, and I heard from the young man who was helped, and I heard from the young man's mother who was helped. Ryan is a member, I don't know if you still are, was a member of the wrestling team at school. Okay, still a member of the school's wrestling team. And he had observed that there was a guy on the wrestling team, a freshman on the wrestling team, I think it was when you were a freshman too, right? There was a freshman on the team that was being bullied, and by bullied we don't just mean, oh, you're a weak young kid and we're laughing at you. It was really significant bullying, terrible stuff that was being said to the kid. It started not too bad, but as these things go, it got worse and worse. And it was done by upperclassmen. And Ryan, being a freshman, had some of those scout attributes that we hope every young man has. We talk about courage, we talk about trustworthiness, we talk about loyalty to friends, we talk about those sorts of things, and we hope every young man has those attributes, and Ryan showed those. I can tell you a few of his friends' words. He said that kids would call him gay, he had red hair, they called him ginger or gay, and eventually it got so bad that the young man who was being harassed decided to quit the wrestling team. His ultimate goal had been to wrestle for West Point's wrestling team, but he was feeling so harassed on this team that he just walked away. And Ryan here texted him and called him and said, "This isn't right. I think you should come back to the team, and I'm going to talk to the coach, and a couple other freshmen are going to come do something about this too." So they all together approached the coach. The coach heard, made some significant corrections, I understand. But it was because you were willing to stand up to the upperclassmen, and that's not an easy thing for a freshman to do, especially on an athletic team, we all know that. The good part about the story then is that the young man did come back, rejoin the team, had a great year, and is still wrestling as far as I understand. Or at least I know he had said his goal was to go on. Yeah. So I'm going to read the words. The words don't say enough, but when you know the backstory, they say a lot. So, upon consideration of the evidence submitted from all sources as set forth in this application, we respectfully recommend that the National Court of Honor grant the Medal of Merit. The individual has performed an act of service of rare or exceptional character that reflects an uncommon degree of concern for the well-being of others. So this is only a certificate, but I hope you recognize that it says that we recognize a lot of the attributes and are in awe of the attributes you bring to the table. And congratulations and thank you very much. Those are the feel-good stories. No, not feel-good. Those are the good news stories that we in scouting help encourage. I also know there are several other good stories out there that I hope we hear about one of these days too. I know of another scoutmaster who said he had 2 stories coming, so I hope we get to hear those too. Because again, this is why we do scouting. This is what we're doing. We're helping to raise terrific young men who are leaders and courageous. So, Ryan, thank you for inspiring us. Okay, back to business, ordinary stuff now. We have a new DE. So Wally, do you and Steve want to come on up and introduce yourselves? So I don't know if you know, but Kurt did resign. He retired from scouting. Actually, he's not in scouting anymore. He's joining the family business and doing what the family asked him to help do, and he's having fun doing that. So he left the scouting program. And so in the meantime now, we have a new district executive for us. And Wally Smith is not the DE, but he's, I don't know, a boss of a lot of the DEs. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Director of Field Service. I oversee all the field and program operations.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go out and get you a person as fast as possible. And with that, we took a look at our whole council. We looked inside the council, we looked outside the council. And the best candidate that we had was down in the Lighthouse, down in the Lighthouse district. He's an Eagle Scout from the Iron Horse district. Hope you won't hold that against him. And Stephen, also in this room, you'll be told that Root River is the premier district in the council, so you'll have to erase your memories of Iron Horse. But anyway, Stephen has been a district executive for the past 3 years. Has done a lot of neat things down at the Lighthouse, and they are sorry to see him go, but this is an exciting, this is a really exciting opportunity. Stephen will be a senior district executive very shortly, and he will also be the staff advisor for the council popcorn sale. So anyway, Stephen knows popcorn, and he will also be helping with the coaching, mentoring, and the overseeing of the new district executive and Lighthouse. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Stephen Izikowski.
Hey, Stephen.
Thanks, Wally. Thank you, everybody. Like Wally said, my name is Stephen Izikowski. I am an Eagle Scout from Iron Horse Troop 580. I have spent the last 3 years in the Lighthouse District down in Racine. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work. I'm sad to leave all the great volunteers that are down in Lighthouse, but very excited to get to work with and know some new volunteers in a different location. I do have a Bachelor's of Arts degree in history from Marquette University. So if anyone goes to the Badger Marquette game from Saturday, I will throw out the Badger Ohio State game at you.
We're immune.
But I'm very excited to be starting here with River District on January 1st. And I look forward to getting to know all of you. And I will be working closely with you all shortly. So, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Stephen's still wrapping up a lot of things in the Lighthouse District, as you can see, and the new person down there won't start till January 1. So feel free to continue to bother me with anything that you need. Anyway, and we'll take care of it. Also, I was told by your district chairman to remind everyone, there is the Root River District Committee is hosting a 15K race on Saturday. Is that true?
Yeah, come to my house.
Yeah. Also, something that will be coming out in January, just so you can think about it, especially for all the scout troops and packs. For the first time, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to host a Weeblos crossover event on court before a basketball game in March. It's the last Saturday of March. The information will be coming out. This is something new for the council, but this will be exciting. So this will be a Weeblos crossover, and we'll have a very limited time, but scouts will be allowed on the court. And if you know, and in fact, if you know anything about the NBA, getting court time before a game is almost impossible. So this is something really exciting for scouts. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. And Stephen, welcome aboard. Thank you. I think that's it for the announcement side, which means we can break off into our other sections. Is that right, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, Cub Scouts are in the, Dick Kroll has something
Can
to
I
say.
just,
Yeah,
I
Dick.
want to mention a few words about youth protection training.
Okay.
For people who don't know me, I'm Dick Kroll, I'm the council commissioner, but I'm also a unit commissioner at River River, so this is my roundtable. Has anybody here gotten an email in the last couple of days saying your youth protection training has expired? Okay, that process started on Wednesday. If your youth protection training is expired, or will expire soon, or you've never taken it, you should have gotten an email. And of course, Jeff, then you're gonna go right out and
Absolutely.
do your training. Since not a whole lot of people have raised their hands, I presume you're all up to date on youth protection training, and that is great. But the fact is that there's a lot of leaders who, according to the records, aren't up to date on youth protection training. You might have people in your units that get this letter and they say, well, what do I do? Obviously, the thing to do is to take youth protection training, which you can do online, and the email has a link that takes you right where you're supposed to go. Some people may say, but I just took it last month or 2 months ago or last year. One thing I've encountered is people have taken it online, but their My Scouting profile did not include their membership number. So the connection cannot be made to Joe Smith, who created a My Scouting, and Joe Smith in your troop or pack. Without that membership number, that connection can't be made, and they look like they haven't been trained in youth protection training. As a matter of fact, any other training you take doesn't seem to register either. All they need to do is get their profile updated with their membership number. And Scoutmasters and Cubmasters, you have the ability in the My.Scouting tools to look that up if you've got anybody that needs to know that. Plus your roster that you get from council will show that as well. I also ran into a case where somebody said, I took it at summer camp, and it shows up as not being taken. So what I did is I pulled out my iPhone, I took a picture of the card that he had that was proof of that, and I forwarded that on to the registrar so those records can get up to date. Sometimes information from classes don't make it where they're supposed to go. Most times they do, But I think most of the people on the training committee are very upset when they find out stuff like that happens. Up at camp, who knows what might have happened to these guys' records, but we got that straightened out. You can probably do the same thing, or talk to your commissioner. I've basically instructed all of the district commissioners to take it upon themselves to, if somebody presents them with a card, take a picture, send it in, and do that. But one thing we're aiming for is to have 100% youth protection training, which is basically the policy, the national policy for that. So everybody should have youth protection training within the last 2 years. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Dick. I know, I got the email and I discarded it because I didn't realize that it was warning me I needed to take it again. Then I went back and looked at my card, and indeed, it's 2 years old, and it needs to be renewed every 2 years.
I would have
So-
told you.
So, you would have, yeah, I know, yes. Thanks, Cheryl. All the information. Thank you, Dick. John, you wanted to say something too? This is.
Yeah, John Unger, River District's FOS Coordinator, Chairman. For the 14 of the units that I've already had there, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I've got about 5 or 6 that are on the schedule. I'd like to have some, you guys come up to me and let me know when your schedule is going to allow this for your unit. And we will certainly try to accommodate you. I don't want to try to run you down, but I'll do what I have to do when the time comes here. So I would appreciate if
You played
anybody needs-
linebacker, if I remember correctly?
What's that?
You
Yeah.
played linebacker
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
football team? Yeah.
I would appreciate anybody getting in contact with me, and if you need my information, I'll get it for you on the side here after so.
Okay, great. I think that's it for the business. That sound right? Anybody else? Good. Why don't we have the Cub Scouts then? They're in the back room just behind us. What is it, 107? And I'll invite.
next door.
Oh,
Just next door. What's that? And I'll invite the, if they're not here, we'll invite the venture folks to come in because we'll talk about Klondike quickly. So, Jeff, you'll be up for Klondike then right away?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay.
Okay, why don't we get going then, Klondike Derby, Jeff, and you and Warren?
yeah.
You guys good? Yeah.
John's coming.
Who is?
John Hunter's Skittles on the
Oh,
top.
okay. So you're kind of leading things anyway, right?
We'll get started.
So,
Okay.
this Jeff and Warren and John are the, I think they're the representatives for the Klondike Derby this year.
Okay, everybody except Troop 612 is signed up and has a cabin. We haven't heard from them yet. Is there anybody here from 612?
I was under the impression it was gonna be taken care of last week. so I'll
What we
find
want to
out.
do is we'll pass this around, and this is your cabin assignments that you've chose. We just want you to verify this and initial it on the right side.
It also has the event.
The station.
The event that you're going to be
Make sure
running.
that the event and the cabin are correct.
Other than that,
A week or two after Klondike is the Root River District's dinner. And so we have some forms here that if you'd like to take along with you, but please put it on your calendar. It is February 1st. This is a great opportunity to make sure that you recognize people within your unit, obviously for things that they've done, and nominate them for service to youth or District of Merit award, and just so that they get the recognition, because it takes many hands to make little work. And yeah, we come to the meetings, but there's also a lot of other people that take care of stuff behind the
The
scenes.
date you gave is what, the deadline for award
It's
nomination?
Sunday, February 1st, but the deadline for RSVPing, they're saying, is January 19th.
February 1st is the dinner?
That's what they're saying
I
here.
thought it was in
Wow, I
March.
thought it was in March.
All right, so, correction here,
Well, I-
correction. Regardless, the event is used for recognizing the people that are in your organization. John will update us when you get it. They're gonna base it on a barbecue type dinner, barbecue chicken combo plate with mac and cheese, cornbread, and coleslaw type of deal. So if any of you have ever been to Joey Gerard's It's usually very good food, so come on out there. The contact for Lisa Marshall, she's her gal to RSVP to. I have a number and an email for her here. These were not in your mailboxes, so we'll try to make sure you get information that way, but anybody on the list? Yes, Jason?
Council calendar has it as March 8th.
Okay,
Yeah.
now that you say that, I do remember that. I just went off what I was reading here, so.
So,
March
get some
8th.
feedback back to Lisa that we should get an
Yeah.
email out to the whole district, okay?
Yeah.
And I can go to Wally and he'll be glad to forward it on to everybody, all the leaders in the district.
All right.
And then remind them of the nomination process too, that has to happen soon.
Yep. And the nominations can start now.
Yes.
So, I mean, that can start anytime. There's applications to that for the nominations, and they need some time frame to work with that. So be clear on that, that if you're gonna nominate somebody for a district of merit or something like that, they need a good 2 weeks to go over the applications and talk about it and stuff, so.
Yes, sir.
So now that we've established that dinner is actually about a month and a half later,
Yep.
is the deadline the same, or is it also?
I would guess, I would push that deadline probably to 2 weeks before that.
2 weeks before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, good call on that, but yeah, 2 weeks before, they need 2 weeks for their applications and stuff, so. And it's, and again, it's $25 per person, so. Yep,
But if Lisa could get all that to us in an email, that would be
Right.
great.
we can do that.
And the Facebook page.
Getting back
Yeah,
to
anything else?
Klondike, make sure you get your registration in by early January for your cabins. Take care of all the paperwork and get that all secured and taken care of. It's my understanding we're gonna have a different ranger.
Mike will be retired, so.
Mike will be gone, so I don't know how that's gonna work out yet, but we're working through all those details right now.
So could you just go over the meal plan? Are you guys doing any meals for us or
Yes, we're
Yes.
gonna be doing dinner
dinner on Saturday?
and, yeah, just a dinner,
Just a
right?
dinner,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
great. So we do the others then?
Right,
Okay, sounds good.
and that'll be a surprise.
Okay.
We're gonna bring back
It
an
always
old
is.
favorite.
A standby.
So I think that's all we got right now. We have one more roundtable before Klondike. So we'll go over some of the final details with you at that point. What you might need to bring for some of the events and so forth. So,
Are there any questions? The guys over here?
Good.
polish up your sleds.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Put wheels on them.
We want snow. Thank you very much, guys. I would like to spend a couple minutes, if we could then, please, talking about last month's roundtable, which was something unique in the annals of our roundtables. And that was where we had the youth leaders come on in. So we had senior patrol leaders and assistant senior patrol leaders and anybody else that the unit decided to bring along. And Mike Radke here coordinated the whole thing, had some great leading questions for the young men. And then they held their roundtable, which I thought personally was very fascinating. It was great to see a lot of the ideas bounce back and forth, and it was great to see that the troops don't all operate the same, and when they don't, they helped each other come up with some great suggestions. But I'm just wondering how you guys felt about that process, because if it felt good enough, I'm going to propose we do it again, but I need to hear from you how you felt. So, first of all, did you get feedback from your boys, and what was your personal reaction? Maybe we can just go around the room, and whoever was here can give me a sense of what they felt. Were you here last week? Or last month, rather? No, Pammy, what did you think about it?
I thought it was great once the boys opened up.
They
You know,
opened
it
up,
took
yeah.
them a little while to get comfortable, but after that, there were ideas flying back and forth. And I thought it was a great sharing of information.
By the way, too, I was going to ask Mike to host the next one again, if we do it again. So if you have any other objective or suggestions, or, any objective criticisms that you want Mike to think about next time, this is a good time to mention that. We'll probably do something else of a survey if we say that was good enough.
Unfortunately, I was not here,
You
stuck
weren't
working, but the boys did talk about it at our troop meeting,
Yeah.
and they did like it. They would like to do it again.
They would
I know
like to
they
do it
would
again.
probably get some more question and answer when they are able to come here again.
Great. The boys liked it. Good. I like to hear that.
I was here, I thought it was very good. The talk in our troop was a little bit slow. Our SPL did share some things, but I kind of had to pull it out of him. I think that if we did it on a regular basis, it would, people get familiar with things and the ideas are going to flow more, and I think it'll be good, a good back and forth for the boys.
You guys should know too, we're trying to videotape this roundtable session, and we're going to have, if that works, and if we can get it up to YouTube, and if it isn't, you know, too many tons of gigabytes because it's long and I talk too much, whatever. If we can do this, this might be a process to help spread the word too. We might record a session like that and then put it on YouTube so that the other troop members can see it and hear it themselves more easily without having to wait for somebody to bring the news back to them. So great feedback, thank you. You weren't there, were your boys here, do you know? Did they? Nobody mentioned it? Okay, good enough.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Very informative. Shortly after that, we had the older scouts get together and talk things through and develop the program a little bit better.
Really? Okay.
Keep kids in and kind of do things to keep the older scouts involved too. So
good.
Gonna work on that a little bit harder.
Good. So it gave them some ideas that are constructive that they can then take back and try to implement.
Yep.
Terrific.
I thought it was very good. We did not have any scouts here. However, we talked about it with the scouts.
Okay.
And sparked a lot of interest there. I think that they were kind of, the fact that there was a heavy showing.
Yeah.
Was a positive thing for them.
Yeah, I thought so. So maybe in May they'll want to come join in too.
I think so.
Yeah, great.
Same here. I was here, but my scouts weren't.
Okay.
Took back what I got from it,
Yeah.
and they seemed interested in doing it next time it comes around.
Good.
Yeah, I was here, as Jeff said, that none of our scouts were there, but they seem more excited now and disappointed that, though they had other stuff to do, that they wish they were here.
Sure.
And for the most part, I enjoyed it very much, and they actually did amaze me of how eloquent speaking they were, and for the most part, they're future youth leaders in training right there.
I think so. Okay. Yeah. Good. Thank you. That's great feedback.
Well, I think Daniel Plevo was real pleased that he got to use this group as a sounding board for his
Yes,
ideas, because he's been driving this home with us at the PLC meetings.
And as nervous as the adults were,
well, I think he got in here and was real ready to present. So, he was excited and eager, and I think he felt real pleased with the feedback that came from that.
Sure.
So we're still working actively to get that to happen, so, but yeah, I think it's
the troop was talking about doing their PLCs electronically remotely, so that, like a conference call or sharing documents and things like that. Yeah.
And he wasn't at the week ago, or last week's meeting, so, but we did have a couple boys come and they worked on things, but we're getting there.
Good. Yeah, that really sparked a lot of the great conversation, so it was good of him to throw it on the table like that.
He came eagerly, when I told him what we were doing for this, he was just like,
oh boy, yeah.
So,
well, I'll tell you, to me, that is just a gigantic example of what roundtables can be, right? You throw some idea out there, a new idea, a concept, and let everybody else beat around on it and see where it works and where it might not work and where the pitfalls you didn't think of and stuff like that. They have to worry about security in ways they never probably thought about.
And then he just took over the SPL as of beginning of October, so, he was right out of the chute, and I think it's a good start for him.
Good, excellent.
I was here as well, and I thought the young men did a great job once they got rolling.
Yeah.
About it.
Good. By the way, is this room better than the cafeteria? I liked it because you can hear people a little better. Were you guys able to hear enough?
We can hear, but it was a little stuffy in back there.
Yeah, they seem to have it up to 75 degrees in here. Maybe it's all of our body heat or something. Okay.
No, I thought it was a great opportunity for the boys to share, and I think some of the feedback that we got is that, hey, we're not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of other troops have similar problems, so, they got a few ideas and they're able to, try those and see if those will work or branch off with some of the other things that they heard.
That's quintessentially roundtable too, right? We have some issues, guys. Help us get through them. Oh, everybody's facing those issues. Yeah. Good. Were you here?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
I thought it ran really cool. I liked the amount of scouts that showed up. There was quite a few enthusiasm about what they're sharing. I thought it turned out really great.
And you're right, the room is stuffy, isn't it, when you get 80-plus people in here, so I don't know what we can do about that. I'm afraid of the cafeteria that it'll be too echoey and people won't hear, but so we'll have to work on that.
What Cheryl said.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make last month's meeting, and we didn't have our SPL, and
Okay.
the SPL couldn't make
Okay,
it. so.
well, it was interesting, so if we
So,
do another one.
Yeah,
we'll
if it's an
have to-
annual thing, I know we can get our guys to come.
I'm thinking biannual, we might
Yeah.
try that in springtime.
Yeah, it was a good idea. I think brainstorming for the boys was very helpful. And I would like to see some kind of, if you could post it on Facebook, if you know, here are some ideas, the most votes, that's gonna be our topic.
Yeah.
You know, maybe have the boys get involved in voting and some type of agenda, or to keep it focused.
Mhm.
I thought it's kind of was all over the table a little bit, but, yeah.
And again, that's a great thought, because that brings up the conflict that we were facing, where we said, this is the boys, we adults, we're just gonna stay out of the way.
Right.
And unfortunately, I can never stay out of the way totally, so I got a little bit, but, and Mike a little bit, but we tried to not direct things and not try to interfere. And so maybe we need to invent some way where we adults can inject some thoughts. Again, I was mostly concerned with security. You know, I wanted to make sure that if they're doing something on a network and sharing things, we don't want names and faces and everything else to get out in real public. So I was concerned with security, but that was the only time I interfered, I think.
But even if you have the boys come up with, you know,
Yes.
We're gonna have
Yes.
a roundtable
Yep.
of scouts on this date.
Yep.
Here, you know, what do you wanna talk about?
What do you wanna
Just
talk
have the
about?
boys
Yep.
put out some
Yep.
statements, and
Yep.
then, you know, if they know ahead of time, they can think about,
Exactly.
you know, and maybe be more productive.
One troop did, and Mike had a bunch of great questions, scene questions, so that if necessary, he could direct it. But I think you're right, if it's all totally owned by the boys, it'll be
Right.
more significant, yeah.
I was here,
And what'd you
I
think?
thought it was real productive.
Yeah.
I was part of the SPL leaders, and I thought talking with other guys from other troops to see like how common or uncommon we are, and to interact and getting new ideas. I think that was just the best part.
Good, good.
I was here also. I thought it went really well. You know, it's good to see the boys interact, and you know, they got excited when they had an idea and they wanted to share it. I guess I'd like to see it more often. You know, so the boys kind of get to know each other a little bit. Even annually, I mean, the turnover of your patrols are going to turn over, so you're not going to have the same kids. So.
I'm thinking maybe biannual, if we can squeeze 2 a year.
Yeah, that was good.
Taking our time away too. So we'll see. I think that's hugely valuable. Yeah, good, thank you.
We were here and I was very impressed, like someone else said, with just how well-spoken the boys were.
Okay.
And seeing it in action with their peers. Our three gentlemen took it back to our adult committee meeting and talked about how great it
Really?
was to connect. They said they felt validated, that when they shared an idea, other troops seemed to be interested in their idea. But the highlight for them was learning other activities, and they really liked the D&D topic. But it got them thinking of doing something more than what we've done.
Good.
So they had a lot of great ideas that night.
If you won't get the D&D, I sent them out, and I think they were forwarded. I think it was before Kurt quit, so I'm hoping everybody got a copy of them. If you didn't, no?
I don't remember.
No? Okay. If anybody still wants them, I have there's a card and there's a strip up here with my contact info. I'll be glad to send them to you yet too. I'll say one more thing about that in a moment too. We're just talking about last week's roundtable with the youth. Do you have any thoughts about that?
That was great. That was great.
Pro or con, anything? Or your boys?
I thought it was real interesting listening to all the boys, you know,
Yeah.
go back and forth and talking about the different things.
Did you have your leadership here with the boys?
I
there?
did not.
Yeah, they were
No,
here. Okay,
we
so
had
if we do another one?
basketball game or
Yeah,
something.
right. If we did another one, you think they'd be interested?
Absolutely.
Okay,
He
good.
said for sure.
Yeah,
We had that talk.
good, good.
Tony said most of the stuff that, about our troop.
Okay.
We did have a meeting after that, we kind of opened our eyes a little bit to see what the boys were saying. It was our scouts who were saying a lot, so we're gonna be trying to do other stuff, but what really impressed me is I saw 2 Eagle Scouts here. And, you know, a lot of times you get the Eagle and
They're gone.
and you don't see them again, you know, so I was really happy to see that.
Same troop as Warren and Tony, but yeah, I picked out a few kids that I thought might be quiet and they actually spoke, so I thought that's great. It's good to see them speak.
How did we do you last time?
I was not here.
You weren't here. Did you have boys here?
Yes, we did, I'm with Mike.
Oh, okay, good. So Mike, what do you think?
I was tremendously pleased by how many people showed up.
Yeah.
And in my
That was
mind,
a knockout.
I accepted the worst, that maybe we'd have 5 or 6, and I'd have to sit and prompt questions and try to draw stuff out of them. So I was really pleased to see the message got through all you leaders to the boys, and that they really saw some benefit out of that. All the reasons that were mentioned for sharing ideas, putting the youth in charge, all part of what the ticket was about from Wood Badge. So to hear that they want to do it again, I think twice a year, it fits in well, because I think we thought this transition time of November is about when people are either having elections, or just about starting. So I think that May-November period works out really well. I mean, I can't say just how happy I am to hear that people really got something out of it. I think it's pretty neat.
We're grateful to you for having
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the last ticket item, but I'm your ticket counselor, so bring that back to me real soon.
One more.
Let's get it signed off.
It's going to happen in January.
Okay. Thank you. We'll get you there. So from my perspective, it went terrifically. I just loved the interaction. I loved the fact that it was the young men saying things that I would not necessarily have expected, which is exactly what we want. We want to know that they think differently than we do on some issues, and it's good to know that they hear from other troops and other youth from other troops how their troops are working things and getting through problems and issues. So I thought it was terrific. I'd like to propose that we do it again in May. Does that sound like a reasonable time? That gives, I know in our troop elections are in November and May, so I'm either going to be bringing the guys who are just finishing up their term or somebody who's just starting, but either way it'll be good leaders. Does that sound okay, May? Without disrupting our own schedules and everything else too much. I had kind of a light May anyway, so why don't I propose that? We'll get some more formal notice out to everybody, but you can start taking that message back that, hey guys, what you did last month in November impressed the heck out of all the adult leaders, and we'd like to try that process again, and we'll aim for May, okay? We'll probably have just about all, other than announcements and things, the May roundtable will be a youth roundtable.
And I suggest that I can resend kind of a topic list. I can go like 8 or 9 different topics on there.
Yeah.
And we've got 6 months now to figure out other ideas and other topics that people might want to have. We can accumulate those, and probably the month before get those out, get some voting, and say rank them, or however we want to do it.
There we go.
To get some consensus on these are issues that we want to go over.
Okay, good.
Could we discuss the possibility, or maybe it's not a possibility, of starting that one maybe at 6:30? So that way we would be able to get some of our general business out of the way. That's a great idea. Have the boys show up at 7.
That's a great idea.
Just to kind of allocate rather than dragging on longer. I mean, at least put it to a vote and see if that's...
Does anybody have a problem with that if we start earlier? I mean, is 7 o'clock so terrific and a perfect time for everybody?
Well, the only thing I have against the 6:30,
Yes.
it is not on my perspective or anybody else's that I know of from our troop, but some of these scouts are in like other activities like athletics, and they're probably gone.
Well, we were talking about having them come at 7.
Them start at
We'll do our stuff,
Right.
We'll do all our
But
opening
they're still-
ceremonies and
okay.
announcements. I don't know, what do you think?
Well,
Can they get here by 7?
Yeah, they can be here by 7.
I think most were.
I'm just saying that, because if, if they're away at track, they won't be back till late.
Yeah.
It'll be hit or miss.
Well, let's put that on, take that under advisement. We can discuss that as it gets closer. What do you all think? Okay. So let me just make a note. Then I want to say one more thing that came out of this. Possible start. RT boys at 6:30 for adult stuff, huh? But the boys at 7. Okay, we'll chat about that and see how it feels. One more thing that I think came out of this, you mentioned D&D, everybody liked the D&D sort of thing. You should know that it probably influenced the selection of next year's camperee theme. We're probably going to do a Knights of the Roundtable sort of theme, and we're probably gonna have a battle in the middle, you know, a Braveheart battle, so they're all gonna get to, you know, make the swords and use them and make their shields out of cardboard and throw flower bombs and do all that fun stuff. That's part and parcel of these. Yeah, I think we need, yeah, we're putting you on notice now that next September, October, we need 2,000 flower bombs. Cheryl makes them for our troops, she'll make 200 of them for our boys.
Flower bomb station.
We can have a flower bomb committee or a station.
Station, have a big building. I still do, yes.
Don't get rid of it.
So anyway, you should know that it probably influenced the selection of the theme for next year. We'll hear more. We also have a person who's running the event for next year already. So Tim Sajka already said he would chair it. So after Klondike, we'll start talking about Camporee, but it'll probably have some weapons and D&D flower bombs in it. So that'll be fun. Oh, terrific. Thank you very much. And again, Mike, thanks so much for driving that. That's great. We could talk about the topic of the evening, which was troop ceremonies, you know, unique opening and closing, advancement, new leader, investiture thing, ceremonies. You guys want to do that, or should we be done for the evening? I see hats being grabbed and papers being, so.
Are you putting it to a vote?
I think we can assume. I'll tell you what. If you want to head, you can. If anybody wants to stay and chat about those things, I'm perfectly willing to stay and chat. I have some ideas about those things, but I'm perfectly willing to discuss it. I know it was on the schedule, and if you're thinking that, oh boy, I was looking for some good ideas, I'm perfectly willing to do that. So I have some on my computer. But otherwise, why don't we consider it closed, and the rest will be discussion, more personal discussion. Okay, does that sound good? Thank you all very much for attending. Thank you much. Thanks for making this a great district. Stephen's going to find out what a great district River is.